Hello again. Now, civil rights movement Not in My Name International is demanding accountability from government on the programs the GBVF fund was intended for. It says back in 2018, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa vowed to combat the scourge of GBV by pledging 1.6 billion rand to start the fund. Now, Not in My Name argues researchers have found no trace of the promised funds to date. Let's discuss their concerns further now. I'm joined by Siya Jentile, the founder of Not in My Name International. Siya, good afternoon. Welcome to today on eNCA. Thank you very much for your time. So why at this stage now are you demanding this transparency and accountability about this fund?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thanks to you and viewers of eNCA. We really appreciate you guys for the work that you are doing. Look, our concern was obviously, as you may have seen our statement, been triggered by the recent case of the junior Blue Bulls player, Ngebo Thusi, who was, by the way, not a first-time offender. You know that Ntokozo Kaba had opened a case of assault against him last year prior to him murdering her at a student residence. So because of that particular case, we asked ourselves how far this process is and what accountability measures have been put in place. And I will be honest with you and the viewers that we have, since we had issued the statement, been directed to several reports, some summary of statements, which we do not accept, which we do not, we feel that are not adequate. We feel that the public needs to be taken into confidence as to how far we are with that process, how much of the money was indeed allocated, and for what exactly was it used for. And we need audited statements for the sake of accountability and transparency.
Yeah, I mean, tragic as the killing of Ntokozo Kaba was, the man accused, who stands accused of this, has not yet been found guilty in court. So the allegation of murder still has to be tested. But on the GBV fund itself, you say since you issued your statement, you've been receiving reports and kinds of comments about what has been happening. Who has been supplying you with that information?
No, look, I think it's one or two people who referred us to one site, which we studied carefully. But we, as I said earlier, that we felt that that was not adequate. And I mean, if you're going to be dealing with issues such as gender-based violence, which is a national crisis, you need to have a simpler and easier means of communication, especially to ordinary South Africans who are often at the receiving end, especially women and children, who are often at the receiving end of gender-based violence, to say to them that help is on the way. Something has indeed been done about this particular issue. You will remember that President Ramaphosa, and we appreciate this, he signed a new crime laws, some bills, I think it was early last year, if not the year before last, which included the criminal law, sexual offences and related matters law. The other one was the criminal and related matters amendment bill. And then I think the last one was around domestic violence amendment bill. So those, amongst other issues, they dealt with, having the expansion of the scope of the National Register of Sexual Offenders and so on and so forth. So we are aware that work has been done. However, we feel that in terms of reporting and accountability, what has been done has not been enough. And these things that were forwarded to us by a few people were not convincing. And we are saying that the people who are responsible for the GBVF fund and the people who have been tasked by the presidency and the president to oversee this need to come out and tell us what processes have been put in place to ensure that the funds have been indeed used for the intended purposes. Where are we? How far are we? Which organizations have been funded? What work have they done? How far are they? And then, we need to look at that against the statistics. Are we making any progress? It is really in the interest, as I said, of transparency, accountability, and ensuring that we get to make progress against gender-based violence
Yeah,
and femicide.
In your research, have you found any evidence of where the money has gone? Have you found some traces at least? Have you spoken to any of the GBVF activists or organizers to say we did get some money, or there's nobody who's saying that to you?
That's very interesting because we exist within an ecosystem of other civil society organizations who do the work and for us this is frustrating because we do this work each and every day, right? And we exist within a community of other civil rights organizations who are specifically tasked with ending GBV in South Africa, and none that we can be able to identify. We've never identified anyone who said, I have received the money, this is what I've done. However, one of the sources that were identified to us, I saw there was a list of organizations that seem to have been, to have received some grants. And look, there is nothing wrong with that. We are just saying that has the work been done? Okay. Has the money been used for what it was intended for? We want those reports audited by reputable auditing firms. We want the presidency and the president to account and say that this is how much we've issued, and then these are the donors that have come on board, and then this is what the money has been used for, and then this is the impact, because the impact must be there and it must be measurable. That is the only way we can be able to say that we are making progress with GBVF.
Finally, Siyabulela, while you welcome the amendments of these various laws meant to deal with GBV, you are concerned about hearing how they are being implemented.
Of course, and that has always been the case. And generally in South Africa, just besides GBVF, in other human rights related issues, the problem in South Africa hasn't been much around legislation. The problem in South Africa has been around the implementation of the laws that are there. And this also has been, I mean, I can count, when this fund was started between then and now, I can count over 10 cases that my organization has been involved in that involved repeat offenders. Cases that, if you look at our laws, by law, they should not have happened. The story should have ended differently. But because the laws were not applied adequately, proper processes were not followed. I mean, an example I'll make you, a woman opens a case and then they are told at the police station to go and sort it out, go and talk as adults, things like that. Unfortunately, most of these women, they never made it back to tell the story that, this is how the conversation went. So there's good laws in this country. The only problem, as you said, is the implementation. We also called for the revision of the Register of Sexual Offenders Act. We're still struggling because some of these people are repeated offenders, but you look at the list, they are not there. So we are not fighting anyone, we're not fighting government. All we are saying is that where are we? What is it that can be done to improve whatever programs that have been embarked on? And those who have received assistance from government, they must come forward and account. And those who are still to receive assistance, they must come forward and present their programs. What we are calling for really is accountability. That's all.